Hi guys, the Jazzy Nerd here, and welcome back to another episode of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. In the last episode, we finished up the first spell challenge. We learned Rick Decembra, which we can be a total jerk to Hagrid's pigs with. And in this episode, or also in the last episode, we went to the Bean bonus room and essentially doubled our bean count. Because that place is a gold mine. Anyway, in this episode, we go from my favorite mechanic to my least favorite mechanic. Sad face. But before we do that, there was something really funny I found on YouTube that I want to share with you guys.
Hey Harry, want to trade?
And that is... So I was just looking at some random videos on YouTube, and I stumbled across one that was the top 10 dumbest things to happen in 2014. And one of those things, I'm just gonna... Oh, I forgot there was a chest down here, actually. And one of those things was a teacher who was fired from his job for posting about homophones on the school's website. In case you slept through your English classes like a couple of my friends did, homophones are words that sound the same but are spelled differently and mean different things, like R-E-D, red, the color, and R-E-A-D, the past tense of read.
Hey Harry, want to trade?
He was fired because the school was worried that people would think that he was, the school was worried that people would think that he was blogging about homophobes, not homophones. And they were worried about being identified as a place that supported homophobia. All I can say is I'm glad that they weren't taking the opposite viewpoint, that they were worried about being identified as a institution that supported gay rights. Because living in North Carolina, Mom, I'm recording. I can't. Why? Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Anyway, as I was saying, you know, this is North Carolina. We've had such a three-ring circus with the legalization of gay marriage. I'm not going to go into that in this episode because I may not shy away from discussing religion in my videos, but I am going to shy away from discussing politics. So anyway, let's go play Quidditch.
Listen up, Harry. We're going to make sure we win the Quidditch Cup this year, and the way we're going to do that is practice. First, a quick recap of what we learned last year.
In case you've forgotten how Quidditch works.
The red ball is called the quaffle.
Or, I don't know, maybe this is your first exposure to Harry Potter. Maybe you grew up in a conservative Christian household and you were never allowed to read it because your parents thought it was satanic or something. I can blab all day about how stupid that is.
Each team has two beaters who try to keep them away from you. Last, and most importantly, it's your job as our seeker to catch the golden snitch before the enemy seeker does. Since you've been off all summer, let's start out easy. I'm going to throw up a snitch for you, and I want you to try to catch it. Sounds easy enough?
Okay, now he throws up a snitch, and we have to go chase it down. Harry auto-tracks to follow the snitch, but then we have to chase it down. And this is tricky. I can catch it when I'm by myself, but once you do this, you go play a mock game. And I never actually catch the snitch when we do that. Okay, once that snitch meter is full, we should be able to catch it. So, come on. Got it. That may actually be record time.
Now the rest of the Gryffindor team is here. Let's play a mock game of Quidditch. Avoid the bludgers and the other seeker. I'm going to have a Gryffindor stand in as an enemy seeker. You'll need to make sure she's out of the way before you can catch the snitch. Don't worry, they'll take it easy on you.
So he says, and yet I've never beaten her to catch the thing, which is why I don't like this mechanic at all, because I can never actually do it. Okay, again. As soon as the game starts, Harry will auto-track to follow the snitch, and then you just have to chase it down. And you actually get a few seconds to gain time on it before the enemy seeker even appears on... Yeah, there she is. You get a few seconds. Stay away from me, Bludger. Oh, shoot. Wow, that was a... I think we are the snitch meter, and she's the Gryffindor meter, which is kind of backwards. Yep, she got it. I can never do it. I've never done that. Never pulled that off before.
Aren't you finished yet, Harry?
Don't look now, but here comes the Slytherin team.
I don't believe it. I booked the pitch for today.
Hey, they've got new brooms and it looks like, yes they are. They're Nimbus 2001s.
Yeah, I know. Apparently Lucius Malfoy made a very generous donation.
Like our new brooms, Weasley. What are you doing here, Malfoy? I'm the Slytherin Seeker now. Didn't you know?
Actually, something I just noticed is that the character designs for the generic Gryffindor and Slytherin team members, the ones who aren't Malfoy, Harry, Wood, or the Weasley twins, are actually unique character models. You don't see those anywhere else in the game. I never actually noticed that, but they're unique character models. I almost said sprites, but that's for 2D games, not 3D games.
Mudblood, the nasty name some wizards use for other wizards who were born to non-magical parents. And speaking of mud, October arrived damply at Hogwarts, spreading
That's kind of funny.
chill over the grounds and into the castle.
How quickly the narrator just laughs off the word mudblood, even though it becomes so important. Okay, now I think the next thing we do is potions class.
It's time for
Yep,
potions class.
called it.
There's a snack.
There's something I want to show
What
first.
you like. It's down in the dungeons. Follow me.
Okay. So, Rick Semper does not give access to any additional secret areas. So that is not what we're doing right now. First, I want to go show something that pertains to what we just did. Actually, I just realized we don't have to go all the way out here to show this. We can just go here, the Quidditch menu, where you can play matches against Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin. And these are for getting additional house points, I think. I don't know, really, because I don't track house points incredibly meticulously when I play this game, but I actually played one match against each team during one of my playthroughs. We lost all of them. And if they are, in fact, for house points, then playing Quidditch matches when I'm so bad at Quidditch will only end up being detrimental. If I need additional house points, I can just speedrun challenges. So, Quidditch mechanic, not super useful. Anyway, I want to head in here because there are some beans you can get in the Great Hall, and there's a chance I will forget to come back here later. And also, you can jump on the tables, which I've always found to be a lot of fun. I don't know if I mentioned this, but in older Pokemon games, I always got a ridiculous amount of fun out of how you can walk on the furniture. Because the furniture are just flat sprite tiles. They're not actually solid objects, so you can walk right onto the tables in people's houses and stuff. I always found that so much fun, and here you can sort of do the same thing. I don't know. The things I get joy out of in games are always kind of odd. Okay. Now, can we access this? Nope, you cannot. We can grab this one, though, I think. Yep, there's no chest in here. You need that same old jerkish spell to access the rest of it. We can grab the ones on the ground, at least. And then we head down here. You don't want to go down any of these side pathways. There are, and you can see some beams at the end of the hallway there. We need a spell to access that as well. The spell to get rid of that green stuff that can damage you if you touch it. Which is actually the next spell we learn, and arguably the most useful one in the game. We can grab this chest. Okay. Now, we can watch... Is this the right side? I think this is the right side. I always get a little turnaround in the dungeons. Also, this is what I mentioned before about how I never like to call in-game areas dungeons, because when I hear people say the word dungeon to refer to an in-game area, this is what my mind conjures up. Because, you know, Hogwarts Castle has actual dungeons. Okay, that opens a secret area. We can't access it because the trigger for the cutscene is right there.
Today, you will attempt to learn the art of mixing one of the most useful potions ever concocted. The Wiggenweld potion. Potter, you have just volunteered to show the rest of the class how this is done. Get up here immediately.
This is basically just one long cutscene, but this is our primary way of recovering stamina. It's much more useful than chocolate frogs. Chocolate frog recovers a little bit of stamina. Wiggenweld potions will recover one entire lightning bolt. And there are boss fights later on that can be a little bit brutal. So, I don't know if people have ever tried to do like one lightning bolt runs of this game, but I can't imagine, but it would probably be pretty dang hard.
Careful, Potter. You don't want to lose house points. Mr. Potter now has a Wiggenweld potion. To drink the potion, press spacebar.
Snape, what's a space bar?
Potter,
Oh, actually, Harry was raised by muggles. He knows what a space bar is, but Ron wouldn't.
will no doubt want to make Wiggenweld potions on your own. Therefore, there are cauldrons like this one throughout Hogwarts. They are the only cauldrons in which Wiggenweld potions can be made. And
We've seen several of those.
Flobberworm mucus and Wiggentree bark can also be found throughout Hogwarts. Now, for today's
Mostly you have to buy the ingredients
history of Flobberworm.
from bean traders. Flower mucus is 50 beans, Wiggentree bark is 75 beans.
I thought I knew everything.
Flower mucus is a little trickier to find. Later on, you encounter an enemy that will drop Wiggentree bark every time you defeat one. Flower mucus is a little harder to get your hands on. I'm sounding a little redundant now. And again, here we have quite a lengthy cutscene. Again, they can all be skipped, but I can guess that just about everyone watching this video has never seen these cutscenes. Because again, I know next to no one outside my immediate family who's ever played this game. It's not that well known. Or at least the PC version isn't. I don't know if maybe other people played there were a lot of different versions of this game released. I know there was GameCube and maybe some others. I think there was even a Mac version. Ron just ran into that wall. Did you see that? But of course, you'd have to play that with an external disk drive. I do have one of those, but I only ever use it for adding stuff to my iTunes. And here I am talking through a very important cutscene.
What's going on? Enemies of the air, beware. You'll be next, mudbloods.
That's a line straight out of the book, by the way. What Malfoy just said.
She's been petrified, but how? I cannot say. And now I would like everybody to please return to their dormitories. There's nothing else to see here.
Come on, Harry.
Remember those spiders that you just saw going across there, and remember the water on the floor. Both of those become very important. If you've ever read the books or seen the movies, you know how. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil it. That's kind of a running trend on this channel. Me going out of my way to avoid spoilers. Although I did kind of make some already.
Hermione in particular was especially affected. Ron and Harry became sure that she was up to something, but whatever it was, she remained tight-lipped.
We have to get to Charms class, Harry, and I have an idea.
An idea about what?
We should ask Professor Flitwick about the Chamber of Secrets. He's bound to know something. Let's go.
Okay. I'm going to end this here. There is one thing I wanted to mention. Hermione said that she wanted to ask Professor Flitwick about Flitwick about the Chamber of Secrets, which makes no sense. He's the charms teacher. I mean, in the book, she asks Professor Binns, who teaches history of magic. In the movie, she asks Professor McGonagall, because Professor Binns doesn't exist outside the books. And I suppose Professor McGonagall sort of makes sense. I mean, she's deputy headmistress of Hogwarts and the head of Gryffindor House. That almost makes sense. But asking Flitwick, that makes no sense at all. But even though Professor McGonagall is in this game, she never does any teaching. So there's actually kind of a interesting trolling mechanic that Professor McGonagall's classroom is down this hallway. And you can go in there to grab beans. But if you walk into it at the wrong time, you will walk in on her teaching, which triggers a very awkward cutscene where she basically threatens to give you detention if you don't leave immediately. And I'm going to head down to the ground floor because there's a save book there. It's happened to me before, and it was so awkward. Every time I go in there now, I listen very, very carefully to see if you can hear her speaking. The problem is, by the time you're close enough to hear her talking, you've probably already entered the cutscene trigger because it's a good way outside the room. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to end this here. If you enjoyed this episode in any capacity, head over to my YouTube channel, The Jazzy Nerd. Check out some other YouTube videos, and if you enjoy those, hit the subscribe button because it really helps. In the next episode, we will learn our second spell at Professor Flitwick's classroom. And hopefully we will also start on the next spell challenge, which is probably my least favorite spell challenge, to be honest. It's kind of gloomy. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, we didn't get any wizard cards this episode, did we? Wow, no we didn't. I don't have to do any annotating. Jazzy happy. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay jazzy.